Hey, what is going on, you spaghetti spilling spinda? So Vikavolt V has been a card that, while it's been in the standard format, has had its ups and downs, but has never really been considered a top competitive deck. But I think that all changes with the release of the Regieleki VMAX. Got 310 HP, the attack Max Thunder and Lightning for a Lightning and 2 colorless, 220. It's got free retreat cost, which is super sick, and one of my favorite parts about any card that has it. And then the ability is the kicker here. The Transistor ability, your basic lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So when you combine this with Vikavolt V, with the Paralyzing Bolt, that does 50 damage and your opponent's item locked, it becomes a real threat. Usually you're using Paralyzing Bolt and you're doing 50 damage, and sure, your opponent can't play items, but does your opponent really care if they can't play items if you're only doing 50 damage? Most of the time, they don't. But now that you can boost this damage to 80 or 110 or even 140, doing that much damage while item locking your opponent becomes a real threat, and I think Vikavolt has now become, finally, the real deal. So let's take a look at the list, and I'll show you guys how I'm setting it up. All right, so the main way we're setting up our Vikavolts to attack, and we can even attack with Vikavolt on turn 1 going second, is through the Melanie. Attach water energy to one of our Pokemon V. We'll draw 3 cards. The attack of Vikavolt, of course, is a lightning and a colorless. So even if we go second on that first turn, we can get Melanie to our Vikavolt, attach one of our lightning energy, and we're attacking with Paralyzing Bolt on the first turn of the game. We got the 3/3 Regieleki VMAX in here. Don't really need a 4/4. We usually look to set up a 2/2 of it. Against like the Regis matchup, we look to set up a 3/3. That way our Paralyzing Bolt is one hit KOing Regis. But yeah, not really looking to set up the whole 4/4. Usually settle for a 2/2 in most scenarios, most matchups. And if we even go up against like a Sablezard Lost Box deck, we can usually get away with just like one Regieleki VMAX in play. Supporting cast is a Crobat and a Luminion. Luminion, of course, super powerful because it can help us search out that Melanie on that first turn to pull off that turn 1 Paralyzing Bolt. And then the best rating card in this deck, of course, is the Greninja, the concealed cards. We do play a pretty high energy count because we do want to hit those to pull off the turn 1 Paralyzing Bolt. And we do need to get our water energy in play pretty aggressively so we can be using that Melanie, not just on the first turn, but following turns as well. If we don't have a Quick Ball or an Ultra Ball in hand alongside the water energy, but just the water energy, but we've got the Radiant Greninja established, we can make sure we're using Melanies consistently throughout the game to build up energy so we don't just like only have that first initial attacker and then kind of, you know, the rest of it kind of falls apart after they take that knockout. It's a pretty aggressive build, so we have Trekking Shoes in here as well. The only thing that I don't have in here that some of the other builds have that are a little bit more aggressive is the Battle VIP Pass. I haven't found that that's like really that big of a difference maker for me, and they just become like dead cards later in the game, which is not good. So no VIP Pass in here, but plenty of other ways to find Pokemon: Quick Balls, Ultra Balls, Stormy Mountains, and I do have the one Heavy Ball in here. I am kind of a huge fan of Heavy Ball. If some of you haven't noticed, a lot of my lists have Heavy Ball. Even decks without ways to find the Heavy Ball specifically like this, or that don't really have a bunch of one-of cards that we'd really hate to see prized. But I do kind of like to think of the Heavy Ball as sometimes being like an extra Quick Ball. Like if I prized any of these Pokemon in my prize cards on the first turn and I found Heavy Ball, I would be happy to kind of see any of these, to be honest. So this is what we got. We got 10 cards in here. So the chance that one of these is prized is pretty high in most games. So if I just find the Heavy Ball on turn 1, it almost acts as if it's like another Quick Ball on the first turn, but more efficient because I don't have to discard a card. And yeah, I would like to see any of these Pokemon. Sometimes Illuminion, not as much, but the rest of them are pretty good to see. So that's a list. If you want to catch some more gameplay from me with this deck, check out the secondary YouTube channel, AzulGG2. Post a ton of gameplay over there from all the best games that I play with these decks on the stream. So go check that out. And let's go ahead. Let's get into the action. All right, here we go. We do win the coin flip, so we will be going at first. There's a couple matchups I feel like we'll be okay going second against. And in general, weird hand. In general, I'm pretty comfortable with going second in most matchups because the deck is pretty good at getting off the turn 1 item lock attack. But yeah, I definitely prefer to go first overall. Just makes things a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. We got the lucky start, and I have the Stormy Mountains with an energy for a Vikavolt. We're up against some kind of Raikou deck. I don't really want to draw into. It's gonna be weird. I don't know how to play this. We'll figure it out, I guess. If they are playing Raikou, though, I assume item lock will probably be pretty decent against them. We'll find out. We'll take that. I will attach that. More options for next turn, and pass over to my opponent. Yeah, so we don't know what they're playing. They could be playing Lugia. They could be playing some kind of Lost Box deck. Probably Lugia. I would imagine, actually, it's probably a Lugia build. Yep, it is a Lugia build. I have no idea how. I actually have no clue how this is going to go. I do have Boss in my hand here, though, off the rip. So I could Boss and knock out Dunsparce potentially, which would be huge. And then that could really set me up to kind of take over this game. So if they go to put Dunsparce in play off the rip here, we could boss that up, kind of take that out immediately. I unfortunately won't be able to boss. Wait, actually, hold up. No, I could boss KO Lugia as well. So if they go lone Lugia here, we could actually boss KO Lugia because we have the Lucky VMAX, we have the Choice Belt, we have the Vacuum. No, for my Forest Seal Stone. All right, I can still make the play happen out of the hand though. And we have an Ultra Ball so I could get Crobat Luminion for future plays. Of course, I probably should actually put the Choice Belt on this Vikavolt. Well, my God. Well, they would always vacuum the Forest Seal Stone over a Choice Belt. So I probably should put the Choice Belt in play. Yeah, vacuum wasn't something I was thinking about there. Although I think it's more likely I get Marnied than my opponent vacuums my Forest Seal Stone. So it's probably still correct to have played it how I did like this. So yeah, I don't hate it. They didn't attach the Capture Energy, which is weird. Because I would assume Dunsparce would be a priority here, but they're not really prioritizing it. Or even second Lugia, but they're probably not thinking about me going Boss KO Lugia turn 2. So I think we're going to walk away with a pretty easy dub here with this Boss KO on this Lugia turn 2 coming up. They are set up pretty well, unless they don't get another Lugia in play, because this Lugia is about to go down, but I don't think my opponent realizes that. I don't think they realize that right now, that there's the potential for this Lugia to fall, and we're just going to win the game if that happens. Oh my gosh, all right. Free dub in the end. Go ahead and get another Lecky, evolve, and now we're doing 210, boss up the Lugia, retreat, and KO. Lugia V down. No Lugia V star turn 2. It's basically a dub at this point. I mean, my opponent can stick around if they want, but I think we're going to get way too far ahead. There's also this Luminion on the bench just waiting to be paralyzing bolted for a knockout later on. They're setting up their Raikou. We could even one-hit KO this Raikou next turn because we have double Lucky VMAX potential. They're sticking it out, though. All right, that's admirable. Sticking it out at this point. But yeah, this one is basically over. I don't see a world where my opponent can make a comeback at this point. It's maybe possible, but yeah, it's not going to happen. Looking pretty good for me. Stormy, get another Vikavolt to set up. Play the Trekking Shoes, discard a Water Energy. Or, yeah, I'll take it. Play the Energy Search. Just going to go get a Lightning to attach to my Vikavolt. I was hoping I would discard a Water there. Evolve to the other Lucky. And then once again, Paralyzing Bolt for the KO. And you can really see the power of Lucky VMAX making a huge difference. So these are knockouts we would have never been able to get before with Vikavolt. But now that we got the Lucky VMAX, anything is possible. And that's going to be a dub in this first one. Let's get into another one. I know our last win was a little bit cheesy, but that's really how Vikavolt gets a lot of its wins. A lot of your opponent's hands or setups might be just fine or just okay or just manageable. Just manageable for what they have. But as soon as they get item locked, it becomes unmanageable and all their hopes and plans and dreams start to fall apart. That really is the power of the Vikavolt. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Serena. They're up against a Lost Zone deck. Ooh, okay. Well, my Greninja is prized. I was hoping it wouldn't be. Grab the Lucky V. I'm gonna go ahead and attach active then, so I can retreat it and then Melanie to the Vikavolt, and then we'll have the Ultra Ball to go ahead and get ourselves a VMAX. I could have retreated to the Lucky V. I don't actually hate the idea of that, but if my opponent plays Escape Rope, well, I have the switch in it. If they play Escape Rope, that's gonna be annoying no matter what. I guess yeah, it's just fine the way it is, to be honest. All right, so it looks like it's either going to be a Lost Gate build or Giratina, one or the other. Either way, they're going to have Mirage Gates in the deck. It's just going to be, yeah, it's going to be more focused on Giratina, or is it going to be more focused on, you know, a bunch of different attackers. I've been seeing a lot of Raikou builds recently to help deal with Lugia and all that. I've been seeing a lot of people playing the Raikou builds of Lost Gate. So we'll see what my opponent has decided to bring today. Another Comfy send up here. And yeah, they're gonna be looking for that turn 1 Cram hit. Don't really mind the Cram hit. Whoa, what? Goodbye, Cram. What's going on? Oh, hello, Cram. All right. Cram is actually used to be a really annoying attacker for this deck. Well, not really. We had Zapdos before. The Cram's hitting. Oh, not yet. And we're not actually guaranteed, because I did open the Crobat. My draw power is a little bit limited, to be honest. And I didn't even get the Greninja was prized as well, which also severely limits my draw power. So I really might whiff the turn 2 attack actually off of this Melanie. Definitely possible. And I mean, we'll see. Go ahead, retreat to the Vikavolt. Melanie to the Vikavolt. All right, so we did not whiff. I'll play the Energy Search first, but I'm not going to attach it until I use the Trekking Shoes, because I could hit a Speed Lightning off of this. Another Melanie. It's a little bit slow right now. All right. That got the Lecky, and it's so easy to pull this combo off. Turn 2, at least 1 Lecky. It's hard to get like more Leckies than that, but if we go up against like Reggie, we want like triple Lecky. All right, they're under item lock. Do they have an answer? Usually these Lost Zone decks struggle, and this is why Lost Zone matchups are so good for this deck. You KO the Comfies, you one-hit KO the Cramorants, you one-hit KO Sableye. There's very little you don't one-hit KO, and they're so item reliant on using their Comfies. If they're playing a Mirage Gate build, they need the Mirage Gates. So getting through like just one Vikavolt is going to be a struggle for my opponent, especially when we're so easily one-hit KOing Comfies, Cramorants, because usually you could like hide behind Comfy sometimes as well, and like let the Comfy take a hit, let your Lost Zone build up, find more cards to actually be able to pull off attacks. Oh, they weren't at 4 yet. I thought they had 4 last turn. So here, they're going to be able to get into this Cram, but I mean, they're going to do 110 damage, and then they're already down a Cram. What are they going to even get off this capture energy that could even be a reasonable follow-up attacker? I mean, I guess it's possible I start to whiff attacks after they KO the first Vikavolt. If they can somehow get through my first Vikavolt, which means I don't think they're going to be able to KO a single Vikavolt this game. What is that? Oh. Wild Shock. Interesting. That is... yeah, that's annoying. Paralyzed. But how are they going to get 3 energy on this? I don't think they can. How are they going to get... They can't play Mirage Gate. I don't think it's possible for them to get 3 energy on this Zekrom. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be another easy, free dub here. See what the Colors brings them. Vacuum, Manaphy gone. That's fine. Anything else relevant? No. I mean, there's 2 lightning energy in the discard pile. Maybe a training court. We can see some training court action. All right, here comes their first hit. Let's see if this leads to anything. I don't think it's going to. Like I said, I'm feeling very much in control. And at this point in these Lost Zone games, if they're going to stick around, just keep paralyzing, bolting. You'll get through all their attackers eventually. I am not going to start to be able to set up my next Vikavolt quite yet. We'll bench this. Paralyzing bolt. I kind of have to wait for this Vikavolt to go down so I can get this water energy in the discard pile to then Melanie it. Another switch. Not very good. Not going to use it. That's fine. So yeah, to Melanie this energy, I'm going to have to wait until this goes down. And actually, that is a point. If my opponent can KO this Vikavolt this turn, that does become a point where I could all of a sudden start to lose this game. Where they KO this, I don't have another Vikavolt set up. Things could still get interesting. I just don't know how they're going to KO this Vikavolt. They're down both their Crams. They would need maybe like a Clara plus a way to retreat. Okay, that would work. Yeah, unless they play 3 Crams, which is... that's weird. I'm not going to lie. 7 in the Lost Zone. If they can get up to 10, Sableye becomes an option, but they're down 2 Psychic energy as well. Once again, they can't play the Mirage Gates. They keep going through all their energy. They do play a lot of energy, though. They are Mirage Gate build. Yep, there's the pass. That's what we're looking for. Water energy, so I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball away the water. And the Choice Belt, we're going to go ahead and grab another Regieleki VMAX. And I kind of want to get to the point where I can one-hit KO this Zekrom if it ever comes up. Then we're going to bench the other Vikavolt. Start to load that up with the Melody. Hopefully find into another Lightning Energy. Did not found plenty of Stormy Mountains. Do not want the Choice Belt. That is a Lightning Energy. I'm going to throw that on the next Vikavolt. I'll hold the Stormy Mountains for now. I don't know what stadiums they play. I don't know if I'm going to want to counter them or not. So I'm going to hold on to those for now. Probably not, like I said, probably not going to make a huge difference. We're so far ahead in this game. I don't think it's really going to matter that much. I did talk about having the ability to be able to one-hit KO the Zekrom, but really not that big of a deal one way or the other. Like, we're so far ahead, like, I'm not going to stress to try and one-hit KO the Zekrom. I'd almost rather leave the bench press open so I could set up another Vikavolt, which I will be able to do now this turn. Start mounts, get another Vikavolt, attach to Speed Lighting, get some card draw, and start to build up that third Vikavolt if we ever need it, which I don't think we will. Another play I actually probably should have done, and this one I'm actually not 100% sure we should do or shouldn't do, but I could have switched into the bench Vikavolt here, actually, to prevent this one from getting knocked out, to not give my opponent any prize cards, and really just limit the amount of cards they have the option of working with. So yeah, if they get prize cards, they get 2 more cards to work with, and those cards could be a difference maker, especially when you're getting item locked. More cards, more options is a pretty big difference, so probably should have switched the other Vikavolt, especially because I have another switch in the hand. It's not like they can set up the Zekrom this turn anyway, so I'm not going to get paralyzed. I'm going to need the switch like immediately anyway, so I don't, yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point. It feels like they're just trying to deck themselves out. We're in so much control here. It's insane. It's insane. The Lost Zone matchups, yeah, the Lost Zone matchups are just so good. The one that is closer, of course, is the Giratina matchup, because they do have a big attacker that we can't just KO as easily, and they can kind of set up manually with attachments, and it's harder for us to KO. So actually, that one is a little bit of more of an issue than either of the Lost Box builds, either this one or the Sablezard build. Like, these ones don't really have a big attacker they can kind of throw at us and buy themselves some time, so it's a very easy I'm still going to put this out, counter their stadium. I'm going to use this instead of benching this one, because that way this takes us out of the deck, and I have less cards in my deck now, which means I play this. I have a higher chance of drawing better cards. Play the Dragon Juice as well if I get a bad card here, but that's a pretty good card. And I will do the switch this time, switch into the other Vikavolt on the bench. Paralyzing Bolt, knock out the Comfy. 110. Water Energy, meh. Doesn't really matter. 2 prizes left to go. 3 Vikavolts set up. My opponent has nothing to even attack with on this next turn, but they're going to still ride it out. They're going to ride it out. That's fine. Can't hate them for it. Okay. Looks like Sableye might be coming online. Finally, they will get their first knockout, but this is just going to be me responding to that with getting another knockout with the Vikavolt. This time, I will be even KOing this Sableye as well. We're doing 110 damage. So we're KOing the Sableye. Sableye will get KO'd. Built up another Vikavolt. This time, I'm probably going to Stormy Mountains and go ahead and get that third Lecky set up. I don't really need the bench space too much, and the option of the extra damage to maybe 1-hit KO something like the Zekrom, or even like I guess it would be 10 damage short on KO and a Snorlax, which is something they might play. They might play Snorlax, so we'd actually be a little bit short on that, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm going to set up the third Lecky. Why not? I might even attach to a Lecky over the Vikavolt, just to have the option to attack with a Lecky, just in case that matters. May as well have the option of it. Options is more powerful than not options, especially when this Vikavolt is so close to being set up. Having the option of attacking with a Lecky could be a difference maker here in a little bit. You never know. So another really cool thing about Lecky's attack is pretty bad. Like, it's 220. It's not increased by the Transistor, of course, because Transistor only increases our basic Lightning Pokemon's attacks. But Lightning double colorless is actually pretty convenient, because we can put 2 water energy on there instead of like having to put 2 lightning. So it's actually like a pretty convenient cost-effect attack. I've had it come up quite a bit now, where I'm thankful that it costs double colorless instead of double lightning. And I think I will attach here. I'm just going to go ahead and set that one up just to make it relevant. I'll put this air balloon or this choice belt on the bench here. Paralyzing Bolt. Okay. Once again, I don't think there's anything my opponent could do. We're cruising, though. Another Lost Zone Pokemon down. They are sending up the Zekrom finally. And like I said, the Zekrom I can't KO. Can't 1-hit KO. But we got a boss. Have a Serena as well, and they're just decking out on this Colress anyway, so it looks like maybe their goal past like turn 3 was just to go ahead and deck out at some point. Goodbye. Oh, Metacham. That is kind of cool. And there's the pass, and I will pass back, and we're going to get the dub in this one as well. Get into it again. This time we are going second, so we're going to be looking for that turn 1 attack with the Vikavolt. I got the Vikavolt start as well. That's why I like playing 4 Vikavolt, because when you do go second, you really do want to be opening it, because you are looking for that turn 1 attack. We are up against a Giratina deck. And as long as our... Ooh, Giratina Arceus. Okay, this is going to be a tough one. These are big Pokemon, tanky Pokemon, and the deck isn't too inhibited by the taking away of their item cards. So this is actually going to be a pretty tough matchup, to be honest. Yeah, this is actually going to be a pretty tough matchup. Now, if we do get this turn 1 attack off, though, they won't be able to move their Giratina. Giratina will be stuck for a turn, which could give us just enough time to try and get ahead in the prize exchange. And maybe be able to pull far enough away that they can't kind of catch us. So that's what we're going to be looking to try and accomplish here. We'll see how it goes, but it's going to be a tough one for sure. They got the Arceus in hand, so Starbirth is online for next turn. But yeah, they can't play Switch. It doesn't allow them to play Switch. They could do something weird though, where they like hard to treat the Giratina to be able to use the Trinity Charge. So getting a lot of energy in play as soon as oh, they just have the Switch off the rip. Oh my gosh, that is very fortunate for my opponent. That is very unfortunate for us. Usually the deck like plays like 2 Switch cards. So having one of them in the opening hand is not good for us. And this is going to show some of the weaknesses of the Vikavolt deck, I think, here for sure. They had both Switch cards in the hand. Well, they maybe played 3. It's possible. Or 4. Yeah, we're definitely going to, I think, this is going to show some of the weaknesses of the Vikavolt deck here for sure. This is where the deck does start to struggle. When you go up against these bigger Pokemon like... Ooh, that's a pretty good draw. Well, I do just want to get the Luminion, I think. Yep, it's there. Good. It could have been Prize. That's why I was like debating, do I want to get the Luminion? Yeah, when you go against some of these bigger HP Pokemon that have like, you know, a follow-up attacker that also has big HP and it sets up your next attacker. Yeah, Arceus is kind of the... It's hard. Arceus is tough to beat for sure. Go ahead and get the Lightning Energy. We will get off the Paralyzing Bolt here. But does it matter? Will be the question. Yeah, I just got Paralyzing Bolt. I don't really have anything else to do. I could get Path to the Peak, though. They could Path me next turn. So maybe I should Crobat here. My hand is kind of dead. Yeah, they could find a path next turn, so I think I should Crobat here. Crobat. I will look to set up a Reggie as well. Go and use the Crobat. I'll keep the boss around. Boss can be pretty good, of course. Still. I can choose. Yeah, I'll take another Vikavolt. Get this down in... Okay, Paralyzing Bolt. 80 damage. No item cards, but we know they have Starbirth in hand to use. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Okay. Starbirth from the Arceus. Got to get creative and hope for the best. Now, we can get the knockout on this Arceus next turn if I want to, but then I'm not building up any energy on any of my benched Pokemon, which is something I think I want to prioritize here. They could go for some kind of boss play here as well, and they could boss up my Crobat or my Luminion, which would suck. So they could go after that. They are going with the Capture Energy here, getting out the Guardy. Okay, and they have a B-Barrel out as well. So both these Pokemon, double retreat cost. There's the boss. So they're going aggressive for the prize trading here. Makes me wonder, actually, what I want to do here. Now, how aggressively would they be able to set up their follow-up attackers is kind of the question. And I'm hoping not too aggressively. I'm hoping not to. We might just 3-hit KO this Arceus. And then, that's a good question. Actually, what do I want to do from there? I could bring up the Tina and punch it. I kind of like that idea as well. That seems pretty good. I could KO the Giratina, actually. Maybe that is the move. Bring up Giratina, knock it out. And that would remove the threat of any kind of one-hit KO from my opponent. I could KO my Crobat, I guess. It would mean they're not item locked, which is not great. But might be worth the trade-off. Yeah, it might be worth the trade-off here. So how much HP they got left? We currently KO them. Another Vikavolt. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's see how this goes. I'm not sure what to expect here, but removing the threat of the Giratina does seem pretty nice. And then I have Melanie next turn to load up more energy and play. I could play the Ultra Ball this turn, but I like the options instead, I think. But getting one of these set up would be really nice, to be honest. Yeah, getting one of those set up would be really nice. Could Ultra Ball away the Vikavolt and the Quick Ball. Okay, let's do that. I'm down for that. Because if they do Marnie me next turn or something, I mean, it's not going to be nice. So I did want to kind of like have an out to my Greninja, but all right. Give it the water, give it the speed. Yeah, I could have also, like, I don't know if this is correct at all, to be honest. We could have just, like, item locked the Arceus 2 more turns in a row, and they might not have been able to find a Giratina because of that, right? So I'm not convinced this was the best line of play. But it is a line of play, and it's a line of play we're going to go for. Got rid of that. Now they get access to items, though, of course, which is going to make things a little bit tricky. Of course, their hand could have been kind of clogged up. And that's what happens with B-Barrel decks. Like, B-Barrel decks play Quick Balls and Ultra Balls for a reason, so you can thin out your hand, so you can draw more with B-Barrel, you know, and repeat. So when I do kind of free up their hand for them, make things a little bit awkward for me, maybe. So I could have just, like, once again, item locked again. Maybe they can't get to the Giratina V-Star, then I item lock again. And then I KO the Giratina, and maybe I just win from there. So I am thinking that that might have been the better line of play. Once again, they're getting super aggressive with the Gusting. Should I follow suit and get aggressive with Gusting as well? Let's see how many energy they also have left in the deck. They are Ultra Balling. Okay, so that's not good. So they're going to put the Giratina in the hand. So here's where I'd want Marnie. So top deck Marnie. Key here. I can't KO. Yeah, I think I should have gone the item lock route, to be honest. But I'm going to bring up B-Barrel here, I think, now. I think I, like, have to bring up B-Barrel and try and trap it for a little while. Because, yeah, they're set up. Giratina's set up. Crobat set up. I mean, this isn't set up, but that's fine. Oh, I actually just realized I needed to get out the Lucky to actually take the KO because they had Guard 4 in play. I almost messed that up really bad. Okay, Marnie. Nope, not Marnie. Marnie. Nope. Well, makes things awkward. We're fine. We're fine. Got the water energy in hand. Okay. I want to keep that as an answer to Paths of the Peak. I don't know if they play Paths of the Peak. We haven't seen it yet, but they might play it. Is it Boss, B-Barrel, and paralyze it, or trap it for a turn to play? I think it has to be. So I'd hit for 80, 60. So actually, I think I want to try and trap the Guard 4. All right, we're hoping they don't have a double turbo energy in hand. I think it's pretty unlikely they don't, but gonna hope. Catch, retreat, paralyzing bolt. Yeah, so I want to bring up the Guard 4 because I get to actually trap it in the active for one more turn. So I can paralyzing bolt. Next turn, it doesn't get KO'd, and then hopefully by then I have found a gust effect to knock out this Giratina. And even at that point, actually at that point, I'd be feeling pretty good. If I can find a way to KO the Giratina. Actually, I can't one hit KO the Giratina though, even with Triple Lecky in play. And they found the energy anyway. So we're going down. Arceus Giratina. It's a tough one. We tried. I think I would have switched up my early game plan there, though, and I would have gone with triple Vikavolt, KO the Arceus, and then worry about Giratina afterwards. I went with the KO the Giratina V aggressively, and I think that did backfire a little bit. Probably just locking their hand out of items and hoping that was going to be what leads us to victory was probably the better choice. So mistake on my part. I would correct that next time I go up against that matchup. But that's going to do it. If you guys want to catch more gameplay from me with the Vikavolt, check out the secondary YouTube channel, of course, AzulGG 2, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.